Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lo-Fi Codes. I'm your host, David Fitzgibbon, and today we're going to look at a little doodle I was trying to do and a little interesting technique I found while I was doing it. So, I like to try and recreate album covers every so often in code. It keeps me kind of fresh. I don't know, I like to try it. So, I had a look at this Basement Jaxx album cover. It's not the greatest quality there. You can see what's coming through. It's essentially just a little black box, but all of these striped lines were what kind of caught my interest. How could we do that with a little bit of CSS? I didn't want to have to do too much or end up using JavaScript. So I started trying to look into how do you do non-repeating patterns, and discovered this brilliant article that explains about an insect called the cicada. I don't know how you say it. I've never heard someone say it. I've only seen it written down. But this little insect anyway comes out every 7, 13 or 17 years. The aim being that it avoids the reproductive cycles of other animals. They tend to be in 1, 2 or 4 years, so they miss all these opportunities to be eaten by other animals because they're so irregular, they're so hard to find the pattern with, that no other animals can really eat off them. That's a lot of biology. Really what we're after is this pattern, the pattern of prime numbers. So I followed this. I'll link this up in the description, but essentially what you need to understand it is a list of prime numbers, and we'll come to that in a second. So a list of prime numbers, and let's just get the basics of what we're trying here. So again, we're aiming for lots of vertical lines, different colors, but no real pattern. So where the prime numbers bring us to is, let's copy some of them here so we have them to refer to. Clear out this nonsense. Okay. Let's get our friends up there. They are our primes. Extend this just to make it a little neater. Okay. So let's start off and just play with the body. So on the body we want to create this infinite background. So we know we can put colors on, and we can create linear gradients. So this is kind of where I started. I was thinking something to do with this. We can create this much, and maybe using these prime numbers we'll be able to get an infinite pattern. So what's next? So we need them to be vertical, 90 degrees. Cool, but that's a bit much. We need to first of all have other colors underneath. We can set multiple linear gradients, and if we do, say, orange here, so that one's behind, we do this one to purple, we're not getting our orange in the background. So how can we get around this? What we can do is set background sizes. I might be jumping ahead here, but let's get into it. Background size, so let's say 20 pixels. And then the second one we will give maybe 40 pixels. And let's set those second colors to transparent. So maybe now you can see how we're getting close. You've still got the white of the background. If we copy all this out, that white is what's coming through here. You can see the reds and the oranges, and every second one is red or it's got a little bit of orange going on. So there's the simple basis of where we're coming from. But you can see that it's repeating every second. If we zoom in for a second, you'll see we're getting orange, white, orange, white. And this is because you can divide 40 by 20, so it's repeating every second time. And that's where the prime numbers come in. We can hack what our little cicada insects are doing and get a pattern that repeats so rarely that it'll appear infinite. I've made a little calculator here. So if we just do 6, 8 and 12 pixel wide backgrounds, like linear gradients here, they'll repeat after 24 variations, which isn't very many. We can see here, this is kind of the output. So if we had one of the 6 pixel wide first linear gradient we would do, we'll call that number 1, and then again it's 2, 3, 4, up to 6, and then it goes back to 1. So we're going to repeat that 6 times, we're going to repeat another 8 times, another 12. We only get 24 variations. We're going to repeat that pretty quickly. Look what happens if we start to put prime numbers in, and we're going to put in lower numbers. So I'm going to go to 5, 7 and 11. And now with less variations that we need to design, or sorry, with smaller widths, we're actually getting way more variations because of the prime numbers, because it's so rare that they will happen upon each other as repeats. So this might be a bit mathsy, but let's just look at how it happens. So 5, 7 and 11. So I'm going to make another tweak or two here just to show you what I'm doing. So this first item, so let's make it 200 pixels wide so we can really see what's happening. So we've got red going to transparent. But if we look at our Basement Jaxx album, these are kind of, if we zoom in, they're gradiented as they go. So we don't want it to be just red. We want it to maybe go from transparent to red. Brilliant. And now we need to make this narrower, and this is where our prime numbers come in. So let's make that 5. Maybe that's too small. Let's try 17 pixels. Cool, so we're getting a bit of it going there. So we're going to build up layers here. So let's make this one orange. And then again the prime numbers, if we pop in, let's say 23. We're not quite getting where we want. We're not quite. Oh, because we need to set multiple background sizes. So let's go back to 17 here. There we go. Now we're starting to see it. So you can see there's kind of one gap there. It's hard to figure out this pattern. So if we add more in, so we're going to add in 1, 2, 3 more. Make them green and purple and blue. And add in 3 more prime numbers. I don't know, 31. You can see we're starting to at least get the unique, varied pattern coming through, though it does look horrible. So this is where I go to. Here's one I made earlier. So this is maybe a little bit closer. It's not exactly there, but close enough that I'm happy that I understand the technique. I'll link this up as well. And then after doing this, I played around and tried just a few more patterns, see what I could come up with. So this, I don't know, it made the body really big as well, so we can see how varied it is. That one's kind of boring. Trying to do Burberry or something like it. More of a tablecloth kind of look. And then this was at angles that weren't just 90 degrees. We were getting some triangles coming through. So you can really play around with this and get some interesting patterns going on. But yeah, I think we hit what we were aiming for there with the Basement Jaxx album cover. So there you have it. A little doodle that turned into a Basement Jaxx album cover in CSS. Thank you for watching Lo-Fi Codes. If you have any feedback or thoughts about this video, please leave a comment below. If you like what you saw, please subscribe for a new video every Friday, or check out another video here.